All right. Howdy, folks. Welcome back. I'm back. Back in the saddle again. All right. As you can see, we've had quite some devastation going on in Italy. And Emilia Romagna region has gone underwater. And not just this region. I mean, this is happening all around the world to all kinds of countries, okay? So much water has been displaced into the atmosphere and then coming down. A lot of snow in the Sierras that still needs to melt, causing flood issues and stuff. So let's bounce over to our solar report tonight. And before we get started here, I'd love to thank all the lovely followers here. Thank you all. I saw Cindy Lou. I haven't seen you in a little while, but good to see everyone here. And the people that are lurking that don't want to speak up, that's okay. You can enjoy or at least learn something here. Okay. Okay, let me get my pointer. And here we go. We are at May 17th of 2023. We're at 1700 here. This is the moment I used for the thumbnail. And we're going to go ahead and just start this this loop and let you watch with the trained eye. There's Cindy Lou, hi. And Leslie, thank you. Nick, welcome. Leslie, there's a few people that speak up there. That's good. Yeah, bless you, Cindy Lou, and everybody in the chat, okay? If you're here, you're already blessed, okay? If you made your way to this channel, you're truly blessed. All over the internet, and only a certain few come to my place, which is good. You're selected. Select few. Anyways, you can see our object coming out, and then another CME going over it faster than it's moving out. All right. And we will go frame by frame through this here in just a second. Okay, good. Everything's out of the room. Excuse me. Okay, let's catch the opening frame here, and then we'll start walking through this frame by frame. Hope everybody's doing good tonight. I have been in a brutal assault from the moment I got up until this very second. All right. So opening frame 024, May 17th, 2023. Okay, we're going to start waltzing through this. And as you look, we can see we have an object right here. It's causing a CME. It has this magnetic field. Okay, it's very faint, but you can make that one out. Okay. These are the trailing objects from the big one that passed. Here's another one. You can see our instrument reacting to it. There's a secondary one right there. Okay. As we click through this, watch the red side as well. These UFOs are dancing all over the place. See this one right here? Then it moves up to there. This whole time, while these are erupting, there are UFOs on this side just dancing all over the place. Okay, there's a secondary object right there. Then, here's another UFO flashing through there. We have this eruption right here first. Okay, there's an object here and one there. And this one, more UFOs dancing around, okay? It's like Star Wars going on out here. They're battling. You can make out this object about to leave the frame. And then as we continue on, ooh, what was that? No, you can't see it very well, but another UFO there. It's just, I don't even know why I bother reporting on it anymore. It's just like, I don't know, never mind. So as we're going to town here, you can see all these faint objects kind of hiding in all that. Okay. Then here comes our main blast. Boom. Okay, you can see it over here on the red side starting to erupt. You can see this object is actually casting a shadow out like that. Okay, now on this side it's putting a dent in the instrumentation there. Now it's still kind of lags here as, all right, here's another UFO. This is one I want you guys to see over on the red side here. All right, here comes our object. It's emerging from behind the occulter here, and over on the red side we have this Ahura Mazda object, whatever you want to call it, right there. Right where our object is emerging, right about here, this thing is buzzing it, okay? And that's 15:05 of May 17th, okay? You can see this little thing. This is another one of these UFOs that are dancing around out there, okay? You can see its little streak, its little tail or whatever, the whichever, Ahura Mazda, there are all kinds of different names or whatever people call that, but there's obviously some craft out there, okay? And until NASA says, oh, that's ours, that'd be a bunch of bullshit anyways, because that stuff's been going on forever, and before NASA was even around. So let them explain that. Now, as we back out here to 125, scroll, drag, and next frame, okay, boom, another UFO in this one, right up here, okay? Like I said, they're just going to town out there, wall. All right, here's our emerging object right here, okay? Now, you see a second wave went over it already. Over here, you can make it out. It's got plasma on it, but it was casting a shadow first. See the shadow it casts from the little UFO frame on out. Okay, now back over to here. Here you can see it making a dent in the instrumentation there. And then it really becomes clear here as a secondary wave. You see the second CME coming out? Right here is crystal clear. I mean, you cannot deny it anymore. And I'm determined to get you guys to understand what's going on out here. All right, now watch as this other shockwave catches up to it and pushes it kind of out. Now here comes another one behind it as well, okay? So we're going to back up again to where our object is clearly in view. We'll start right there. Let me zoom in now for you guys. I mean, we really don't need to. It's only clear as a bell. But I like it nice and pretty like. Yeah. Alright. Now let's see if I can use an arrow. Alright. There's another good image of it. Alright. Right there. Pull that over. There we go. Let me go back a frame. There's a good shot. There's a good shot. So, undeniable our object coming out, okay? Now as I try to go forward with it zoomed in, it's going to jump a little bit, so I'll just keep pulling it back over. Oh no, come on back. All right, boom. There's our object right there. And then right about here, you can see this approaching plasma field. This approaching plasma starts to illuminate this face, this front side, or back side face if it's going this direction. Front side face if you're facing the sun, right? And you can see plasma damming up on the face of this object. Okay? Painting that there is an object there. There is no denying this anymore. If you deny this, you have issues. And Houston, you have a problem. You have a big time problem with honesty, is what you have a problem with. And there's nothing you can do about these things. So all you elite that are trying to scurry like cockroaches into the crevices, there's nowhere to hide, baby. There's nowhere to hide from the face of the Lord. Okay? Now these objects, when they interact with the sun, they cause these CMEs. These CMEs interact with our earth. They cause the grinding sensation in the core. They cause the weird weather, okay? I show you the weather and events from all around the planet, and it's because of these objects. When they pass by Earth, when they arrive, they don't just pass by, they arrive. They're not going anywhere. They're all coming here and hanging out. Here's another one. We don't need Planet X and Scott's filter. Bless his heart. He's such a good man. I feel so bad for him. I hope you pray they're doing okay. But we don't need the filter with images like this anymore, okay? It's time to step out of denial and start accepting the truth, the ugly truth, okay? There's no longer any deception, deceiving. This is NASA's instrumentation, okay? And now we're going to come over to a totally different website, somebody else's. Okay, this isn't NASA, this is Solar Ham, this is the GOES X-ray flux. Okay, this is what I show you, the heartbeat of the sun. It also shows you the CMEs and the X flare or flares and stuff. Here's today's box right there. Okay. And you can see at the tail end, boom, 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 boom. We've had all this activity. That was all those little objects, right? Looking into today, we've had, maybe we should go check go take a peek into the future. You guys want to do that with me? That's why you're here, right? You want to know what's coming in the future, right? Well, couldn't come to a better place. All right. So let's see what I can do here. I want to come down here and see if there's anything posted 18th. Let me refresh this real quick and see if we can get. There's the 18th. All right. And here's one of our events right there. Okay, so down here, let me start that over. It's just 10 frames out of tomorrow. If we can get it, fine. I will just one by one it. It's just 10 frames, but you can see these little objects. Here's another one right here with another one following behind it. This would be frame 1 of 10. Okay, so that was that segment. Let me just take a peek at this and see if it's the same 6 frames. No, it's a little earlier. It's this object just caught a little bit earlier coming out. All right, and that one's clear as a bell too. Let's. Yeah, nothing going on there. Yeah, nothing to see there. There's no object causing a CME there, right? I don't see anything. Not that black round thing with another one right behind it. All right. I'm being sarcastic, of course, but clear as a bell. There it is. That's on the 18th now. Okay, so let's go back now to that's these two events. Boom and boom. All right, and now we're coming out of it. And if we don't have another blast, I bet you it's going to drop below the seafloor because the sun's getting weaker and weaker and weaker with each one of these interactions with these objects. Okay, let's just put it down. Now, as we're back out of this, we're going to our absorption's doing fine right now. That's the NIM 9.6. They don't have anything posted really as far as these last ones. Now they're reporting this flare right here and a sunspot down there, but we know different. We just witnessed something totally different. And, there's this going on as well, okay? But let's go on this side. That's all good right now. We don't need to do that one. KP index is working fine. I got mosquitoes snuck through my screen. Watch out, folks. The mosquitoes are out. Okay, there's your auroras for today. Still off kilter. That's the center of the Earth right there. And you see that right where my finger is, you can see that the southern coronal area, the coronal zone, is shifted offset. Same with the north one. Here's the center, and you can see that it's shifted, it's offset. Okay, so let's back out of that. Let's come down to the tracker and see if they posted anything worthy. Okay, you see our CME kind of going off in this direction here. Let me just, can I get this to finish up there, folks? But while it's finishing loading, I'm going to start zooming in on it a little bit better. That way you can see this, you can see the wave right here. If it's not, it's not going to finish loading. There it goes. Alright. Oh, maybe not. Slowly but surely. There it goes. Alright, so it's heading up that direction up here, so that's good. We're at least not going to absorb a CME, but as these objects approach the Earth and arrive, it'll have more effects on our weather, earthquakes, volcanoes, all that great stuff. Even though the CME didn't hit the Earth and absorb and cause a core event, we still have inbound objects. Okay? So, just because one thing doesn't mean another's not true either, okay? Two things can be true at the same time. That's all we want from you. Let's go over to the shoe. Men. And pull this up just a tad bit better. I don't need the ad in there. I just want the instrument. Okay, you can see our blast from yesterday and the day before, okay? We came out of it. It was strong, but it weakened right in that zone right there. Right here, okay? But then we had a few more little screeches right here, okay? They go off the chart, but they're not long-lasting. They're not big old bright ones like this, okay? And it's looking pretty weak coming out of the backside, but once, we're still rotating around the sun, so that's what's driving our reversed core, which is now spinning in its proper direction. It's been over-rotating this whole time, super rotating in the forward direction, when the core is supposed to go in the other direction. Anyway, so each time we come out of these grinding events, the core and the shell grinding on each other, causing these harmonic echoes off the ionosphere. This emits from the surface of the Earth, goes up out into space, bounces off the ionosphere, and comes back down as an echo. And that's what this instrument does, is capture echoes. And that's your 7.8. That's the hum, the electromagnetic field hum of the iron core rotating inside of a semi-iron type steel type whatever shell, causing an electromagnetic field. Okay, that's what protects our planet. Same thing with the sun. The sun has a core, it has a shell, it has all the elements that are on our periodic table. Okay, we wouldn't have those elements if it wasn't for the sun. So every single element exists inside the sun. The core rotating inside the shell, electromagnetic field effect on a grander scale inside the sun causes the corona. It's actually so strong that it makes it burn and crackle and have thermonuclear fusion and fission, because the core is so big and the shell is so big that when they rotate inside each other, I mean, sparks fly, baby. Literally, the sun glows. All right. If that had a core lock event, what do you think would happen? What do you think would happen? I've asked Ben over at Suspicious Observers during his Q&As. He will talk all kinds of smack, but he will not answer the question when I put it to him. What happens when the core and stops spinning inside its shell in the sun? Well, I already know the answer. I want him to contemplate it and go, yeah, what does happen if the core inside the shell, inside the sun, what if that dynamo stopped spinning? Well, the sun would go dark, wouldn't it? 3 days darkness, maybe even more, you never know. Okay? And these objects that are interacting with the sun are messing with it, messing with us. Our planet's core already stopped and reversed. Who's to say that the suns can't do it next? We're seeing all these side effects in every single planet, from Pluto all the way to Mercury, okay? Trying to tell them, Lord. I'm trying to warn them. I hope they're hearing it. Okay, here's your backward rotating polar vortex. When we talked about the weather on one of the planets, let me think back. I'll have to look at my notes again, but the weather was going backwards. So it was, if that's happening to that planet, that would be a side effect we would expect to see, right? Well, it happened on Venus, it happened on this one, it happened on that one. So eventually our weather is probably going to start going backwards. And now here is our polar vortex, weak as it is now rotating backwards, because possibly the core is now electromagnetically spinning. As it spins backwards, its electromagnetic effects on the water and the air causes conduits and stuff to rotate. So I have a feeling our core is now causing our northern polar vortex to rotate backwards. Let's pray that something disrupts this and divides it, and we go back to rotating the right way. Okay, maybe it's just a seasonal hiccup, but not going backwards. Okay, so then we're going to show you all the SO2. I don't want to do this, Lord, but he wants me to, so here we go. Take away the wind, take away the map, and take a peek at America. All right, there you go. Still bleeding out from about this line over. You can see the line right here that's been drawn. Everything over that way, screwed. Here's a line been drawn here. Everybody up here in Canada who's suffering under Trudeau and that gay ass system. That dude's wearing fake eyebrows. Please, please. What a joke these politicians are. Oh, never mind. I got him. Boy, do they got a surprise coming. Well, not a surprise. They know it's coming. There's Oahu and our neighboring islands venting SO2 because it's coming up through the pores and the crevices and perforations in the crust because the core and the shell are expanding, pushing this gas out of the way. Next comes magma. When we run out of gas, then the liquids come. Solids in the form of liquid, magma, erupting up through the surface. You're going to see China catch on fire first before it even gets to the surface. The radiant heat will dry out the ground so bad and bring it to a combustible point where you will have spontaneous combustion on the ground all over China. Spontaneous combustion, all right? Wait until the lava comes up with its ignition. It's like a spark. All you need is an ignition. Let me add something else to this equation. When you add water to, this is SO2. Let's go over to SO4 right here. This is sulfur quad oxide. So it's got 2 more oxygen molecules than sulfur dioxide. Or oxygen atoms, not molecules, atoms. In the molecule. It's SO4 instead of SO2. Sulfur quad oxide. Okay? When this stuff mixes with the water in the air, it produces a compound called H2SO4, better known as sulfuric acid. Okay, this sulfuric acid in the air can become combustible and sparkle and crackle and explode. All right, this is not good having this much sulfur in the air. Not just sulfur dioxide, all this sulfur quad oxide, I call it. Okay, is all over the place. This is the stuff that mixes with the water and creates sulfuric acid. It's being caught up in these storms because it's a gas. It gets mixed in with the storms. The storms have what in them? Water vapor. Lots of water vapor. There's so much sulfur that it is now a particulate in the air that water droplets cling to. So now there's so much more particulate in the air to conduct rain. Okay, you need particulates in order to conduct rain. The water droplets won't just magically appear. They have to have some kind of granule or particulate to adhere to, and then they start growing. Now, look at the particulates all over the northern hemisphere. Let's just start here and go around the northern. Okay, the white deducts the intensity. Here's your chart. See the white here at the end? That means the most intense. Black down here at this end means nothing. Right? Well, you got these little pockets of black, but most of it is all intense white. This green tint, that's still it. It's just not as intense. Now, let's go south. They don't have it as bad, as intense. Okay, there's not the big white pockets and white bands. It's all green, except for maybe right here at South Africa. But as we pull back, I want you to see how this gas has circumnavigated the entire globe. Okay? SO4 is everywhere. The blackest or the darkest spot is down here. It's Antarctica and not up at the North Pole. Okay? The North Pole is saturated up here. Okay? The only spot that doesn't have super saturation is down here, and it's still there. It's just not as dark. It's just not as bright. Maybe here's a patch right here, but out of the rest of the planet, those are kind of the only dark patches. And look how it gets caught up in the weather and stuff here, okay? So we got a big, serious problem with particulates, especially sulfur in the air. Sulfur mixed with water will explode and crackle and do all kinds of explosive, magical tricks in the air. Okay, and it all depends on the combination. It's really tricky. If you add the sulfur to the water, it explodes. But if you add the water to the sulfur, it doesn't. Huh? How does that work? Well, supposedly that's what they're teaching in chemistry, but I don't think they quite understand how H2SO4 can become an explosive. They use sulfur in dynamite, okay? This stuff, when it gets electrically charged, can probably do some weird things in our atmosphere. Fire in the sky type things, just in the air catching on fire. Does that sound weird or what? So, there's that. Now we have to get going here to the earthquakes. And we had this right here. This 6.4 at Guatemala, and I'm going to have to get kind of in depth with that one before we do our earthquake report. Let's catch this before they wipe away all this. It's an excuse to go have a cigarette, really. Okay. There's your date and time. Now, remember, this isn't the most reliable anymore because inbound energy can affect this, as well as your prayers. So it's a battle going on right here. Okay, this is your guys' battle. You're helping me battle this weather. Really, you are. Whether you believe it or not. I know some of you believe it because your prayers are actually working. And you're seeing results. So when you see results, That's answered prayer. And one of my favorite things is to just say thank you for answered prayer. I don't pray for a lot of things. Most of my prayers are all thank yous. I recognize what he did today. Saved me in traffic. Oh my God, I was a dead man. How did I survive the idiots in the traffic today? Several times. And those are all answered prayers because I prayed, please protect me out on the roads, Lord. And he did. So when I got home, thank you, Lord, for getting me home in one piece. That's answered prayer right there. And once you start that process, you guys are unstoppable. Unstoppable. And everything is possible, okay? We're not praying for material stuff. We're praying for spiritual growth, okay? That comes with pain and endurance and overcoming, okay? So watch this little thing. I'm going to have a quick cigarette, and then we're going to dive into this earthquake because this is a serious issue. This one that we had there at Guatemala is on the Cocos Plate, and we're going to have to dive into it kind of seriously. So let me just take a quick break, and I'll be right there. I'm actually standing right next to you anyway, so I'll be right there. Ow. I need more than that one, but I need a full one. I'm just a monster. How people drive with their cell phone and not get in an accident and kill each other all day long on the roads is beyond me. Well, there's actually supernatural forces protecting you guys. Catching you at the last moment going, hey, look up. Oh, shit, almost ran off the road. Hey, look up. Oh, that guy almost cut me off. I swear I need a pair of cop lights. I got so many errands to do. I'm trying to get through traffic. It'd be just like, hey, pull over. If you're going to be on your phone, pull over. I got caramba. I'm letting more mosquitoes in. Oh, man. I just can't live. Oh, great. I got the itchies. Mosquitoville. And that's another thing. With all this water and all this moisture, it breeds mosquitoes in standing water. So there's going to be a huge mosquito outbreak this year, huh? It's already starting. So, know when mosquito hour is, dusk and dawn. And that's the time to go inside for an hour. 30 mosquito hour. Close all your windows and everything. Those little bastards get right through the screen. They crawl right through the little squares and fly on in. And the most disturbing part is, is one doesn't make noise. Yeah, the female, I believe, is the one that bites. And her wings don't make noise. It's the male's wings that make noise. So when you hear noise, don't worry. When you hear buzzing, don't worry. It's just the male. He doesn't bite. But when you hear nothing, uh-oh. All right, so as we continue through this, you can see this storm wrapping up here on the East Coast. Going to continue plugging forward here. We'll just open the door and closed it. Nice. All right, I'm looking at this thing up here, this low up here in Canada. This is on May 23rd. You see how this thing's wrapping up really tight with snow here on the front side, violent thunderstorms on the back side. Okay, and that right there is at 2 p.m. Or no, that'll be about noon this time, this time zone. Okay, and it's a tight low, but it does that quick little spin up. So watch out for that. Before that, though, there's little pop-ups here in Texas on May 23rd. That's the end of convection, May 22nd. Okay. Then as we go into the overnight hours there in upper Texas, northern Texas, and up in here too, the Canadian border here, Montana, and out in the plains of Montana. And then that thing wraps up into this up here. This dissipates. Okay, and that's the 23rd into convection. Then it go into the midnight hours. A little moisture moving off the coast there, but kind of clear for the country there. Some answered prayer. Some thunderstorms maybe here in North Dakota on May 24th at 2 p.m. But up here in Canada, watch out, you guys, northern Minnesota and Canada on the end of convection May 25th. Okay, not too bad, but just keep your eyes peeled. A lot of water. Okay, we're not just talking tornadoes and stuff. We're talking lots of hail, high winds, lots of water, lots of flooding. It's time to go check your drainage ditches, your water runoff, and all your water runoff from your house, your pipes, your drainage ditches, your everything. Even the ditches that run down the side of the street. Make sure your city drains are free of debris in case you have a flash flood. And, all it takes is one intersection to flood. Yeah, standing water. Yeah, that's right. Try to, eliminate that stuff or guide it, control it, conserve it. Even though we're getting tons of water, you need to conserve it still because we're going to need that water here in the future. This is a water event that needs to be taken advantage of before everything dries up, okay? Because that's coming soon too. Here's some thunderstorms here. May 26th, the end of convection down in Tennessee, South Carolina area, okay? Possible. This can all change. We have big inbound objects. We have multiple smaller inbounds. All this can change for good or bad, depending on what you want. Which do you want? Oh, we'll hear it. So we got this low creeping in here. This is going to be a lot of wind right in this area. Even though there's no storms or anything, that's a big wind field, okay? You see these isobars, these tight isobars running through there? Okay, that's going to be a wind event in front of that low. Then as it pushes up here, look how it collects these thunderstorms scattered up into Canada, here in North Dakota, down in Nebraska, stuff down in Texas and Mexico border area. Okay, this stuff is scattered all over the place, so you really got to be on the ball. Every day before you go out, check what your weather is supposed to be like that day, and then watch to see if it develops that way. They might say, oh, just a slight chance of rain. Yeah, it rains in the morning, and you have all that moisture in the air that convects in that afternoon. They're not calling for thunderstorms, but all of a sudden, the sirens are going off. Okay, that's how quickly things can change. So, every day you should be checking your weather before you go out for the day. What is my expected weather? Do I need to bring an umbrella? Do I need to bring, SPF? Should I check the Schumann? Is the electromagnetic field weak today? Should I wear long sleeves today? Even though it's hot, you might have to wear long white sleeves, long sleeve t-shirts that are white or yellow, very bright colors to stay cool, but still protect yourself from UV rays and ultraviolet, this radiation that's coming in. Ultraviolet radiation, infrared radiation, the whole spectrum, okay? Pretty soon we'll be wearing reflective clothes, like foil or mirrored clothes that reflect all this light back and keep you from absorbing too much of it. Um, so now let's go over the earthquake. Oh, was that the end of the forecast? No, a couple more frames here. Let's finish this up properly. Boom. As we go into the afternoon hours of May 29th, you see pop-ups here. Back in Nebraska, Wyoming, coming up into Texas. Okay, that's the end of convection, May 30th. Possible, not outbreak, but thunderstorms here. This low up here is dragging this little comma tail, so something could happen in there. They're calling for a little yellow up here in Canada. Okay, so I know we got Canadians probably that watch this too later on if they're not here live right now. The replays. Here we are, the end of convection, May 30th, with this stripe here in Texas. So Texas, be on alert. Just keep checking every day. What's going on today, because this stuff can change. We are in transition season, spring, and it's just gonna be the weather from here on out. It doesn't matter what season. I think you guys can tell that obviously our weather has changed, and it's already inbound up here. When you step out of denial and you start accepting the truth, it's pretty basic stuff, really. It's not all that complicated. Man's the one that tries to complicate stuff with formulas and theories and postulations. Dude, why don't you just look at what really happens, take note of what happens, and go with that? That's what we did in the lab. All right. So we got scattered thunderstorms all up in this little low right here, and then this low is creating oh, not again. Not move there. Okay, good. Be right back with it. And here we come, May 26th. So, back up just a tad bit right there. So, we have this low on the 26th coming in. Boom. Then we have this little event in Tennessee. As this pushes up, oh, looks like it changed. All right, so here we are, the 28th. This will be over the midnight hours. The scattered thunderstorms all up through here, and there. Whoops. Now this low down here and this low, watch them as we continue. They kind of merge and then drive all the scattered thunderstorms. This is going to be over the midnight hours of May 29th. There's 7 a.m. May 30th. That right there. Let me go back one. That right there is the end of convection, May 30th. Okay, so right here in Texas, that stripe that we were talking about. Then as we go into May 31st, this early morning hours, afternoon, and the end of convection with these spotty ones here in Iowa, Indiana area, stuff back down here in Arkansas. Okay, so that we're pretty far out in the forecast here, so it's not as accurate, but that's the rest of it. Okay, here's some. This is the end of convection, June 1st. With all these spotted thunderstorms through this region, through starting up here by, let's see, New Hampshire, Vermont area, down through Pennsylvania, West Virginia, back into Tennessee, Kentucky, maybe Illinois and Ohio. Okay, and that's the overnight hours of June 1st into the 2nd. There's the 2nd on the morning, and that right there is the end of convection, June 2nd, with pop-up thunderstorms here, there, up in Michigan, Iowa, the very northeastern corner of Iowa is captured in there, West Virginia, so very spotty and very volatile weather. It really depends on what big object is passing, arriving, influencing the Earth as well as the sun. They just influence the sun. 3 days later, they make it here and start influencing us. So you got about 3 day warning from whatever happens on the sun here, right? So tomorrow being the 18th, let's go back 3 days to the 15th and see what happened on the 15th, so we know what kind of energy to expect tomorrow. Any inbound energy arriving at Earth or objects arriving at Earth. And as this kind of loads up here, this loop, you can see we had a couple of blasts here. Boom, this big event will be impacting us. Come on, loop, finish up. Okay, so this happened 3 days ago, and this is what will be the energy and the objects that will be arriving. Not too bad, but this blast right here, that will probably influence the weather and stuff tomorrow, okay? There's two of them. This first one, and then the second one right here. Third, fourth, there's little pops and fizzles. But the first one, right there, then this second one. Okay, so there's going to be all kinds of little bursts of activity or bursts of energy arriving, little waves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, there's like 5, 6, 7 little ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, you can judge what you want. 7 to 8 right there. Okay, little impulses coming in tomorrow. Okay, because they left the sun on the 15th, and that's the average time. It's not perfect every time. Some of these objects come out slowly and they take another day to get here. Some of them come out super fast and they get here in 2 days, right? So it's rough average 3 days, right? So that's what we go with. Now, I think we need to get to the earthquake here. All right, so first off, before we get to this big one and really get in depth on that one, let's cover everything else. No deep quake in this region right now or for today. This first one is a 4.9 at 52. Then over here we have the 4.3 at 319. That is a semi-deep quake. That's a halfway deep quake right at... Look at this, you guys. Come here. Here's Java. Here's the channel. Okay, let's go in tight. Here's the channel. Where's our earthquake? Right there at the mouth of the channel. A 4.3 at a depth of 319. That's halfway deep. Okay, that 600 would be deep, or 589, right? So 319 is about halfway down. This is going to cause another quake at the surface, possibly, with another range higher, I would say 5 to 5.2 at the surface, okay, or along this fault line, all right? We did see energy. This isn't a, how do I put this? This isn't energy being scrubbed off. This is a little bit deeper. Something down below is going on. So there's magma down here, and I bet we have more quakes at this site pretty soon. In fact, you know what? I want to go over to all magnitudes, but I don't have time right now, so you guys can do that if you want. But this is a semi-deep quake right at the mouth, so watch out for Mariapi, watch out for earthquakes, watch out for not Krakatoa. Okay, that's the one I'm trying to say to watch out for, the deadly one. Okay, it made it up this way. It's up here by the fulcrum point, 4.7 at a depth of 10, scrubbing energy. Nothing scrubbed here. Pull back a little bit. Okay, so nothing scrubbed between here until over here. It actually pushed down. It looked like it traveled across, but it may have come over the fault or just pushed straight across. and produced this 4.8 at a depth of 10. Okay, that's energy being scrubbed off right on the fault line. I'm sure if we go in, it's probably on a little fulcrum point. Or, oh, there's flakes. Looky here, 4.7 at a depth of 10 and a 4.8 at a depth of 10, right on this little spot. This is a little weak spot right here. It's not a fulcrum point. See this nice little straight, but it comes out, goes down, and then pops back out. It's almost like a little segment. It could have gone straight right here, but because of this site, it has caused this change in the fault structure, we'll say. So whatever site is underwater right there is caused this bulge, not a bulge, but a change in this fault line structure. Okay, see how it came down, rounded off? It should have just gone straight right here. Either straight from this one to this one or from this one to this one. But it diverted. It went around this whole complex. Okay? So watch out on this area. This is almost like the Mid-Atlantic Ridge that takes a lot of the energy and supposedly it's supposed to disperse it. So we're now seeing dispersal along off the coast of Africa, along this trench or along this fault line. Now back up here, 4.4 at a depth of 10, energy being scrubbed. 4.2 at a depth of 10, energy being scrubbed again. This is Greece, okay, and more Greece. Lots of Greece. And it looks like it's working its way up to Italy. So watch out. All that flooding footage I showed you was in Italy, okay? So even though they're not getting attacked with earthquakes and volcanoes, they're getting flooded right now. So pray they don't have an earthquake attached to that or a volcano. Energy goes up the system. It comes up here. We got a 4.3178. That's a halfway deep, semi-deep quake. Not halfway, but a third of the way, let's say. Up here we have our 4.2 at a depth of 41. It got pinched off the garden hose, traveled at a 3.6 range, a 3.8. 3.2. There's a couple others up there, but it rounded, came down to Juan de Fuca. Right here at our pinnacle point, our our fulcrum point right here where the land, and there's a fulcrum point on the land pointing outward, and there's a fulcrum point right here pointing inward. Those two fulcrum points pushing on each other create this little area where we had 2.8 at a depth of 1.7. Okay, so energy traveled down, came down. Looks like came down 2.6 at a depth of 8.5 and a 3.1 at a depth of 3.8. Okay. Now, this is our 6.4, and now the depth is 252. Okay, so we're talking about a third of the way down. All right, that's a half or a third of the way down deep quake. All right, at the surface we're talking a little bit higher. Okay, we're talking maybe 6.8 at the surface. All right, because this was down deeper. 6.8, closer to 7 maybe. Okay, 7 energy at the surface right there. Now thankfully it did not hit right on this fault, right on the Cocos Plate. Okay, because that would disrupt this and cause landslides here. Underwater landslides along this shelf would not be good. Thankfully, it's inland. Oh, I see what's going on here. We got the end of this fault line right here. Let me pull this up. Can you see this red line right here? Let me pull back a little bit. Right here is our fault. And it ends right here. Topographically, you can see it's this big trench right here. This is your fault right through there. You can see it. It's created a river that runs through this little valley, all right? Here's your fault line right through there. You can see it topographically, okay? And just off of it, in these rough little mountains over here, that energy got scrubbed or it disrupted this region, let's say that. And that's a decent sized quake, a 6.4. So there might be aftershocks and there might be something else going on down below here. You see how this comes in? This fault right here. There's a secondary fault that runs parallel with it right here that's not marked, okay? So we're talking a slab in between two fault zones. That's what this is. This whole thing right here is like a puzzle piece slab in between this fault structure right here. See how deep this water comes inland right here? That's a weak zone. I would expect to see maybe something in this weak zone right in there too. Okay? Over here by this water. Or on the beach, on the shelf as well. This weak zone here. Okay? So I don't think we're done with energy in this area. If it were at a depth of 10 and energy being scrubbed off, that would be a different story. But we're at a depth of 252 here. Whole different monster or different animal. Okay. Few little mouse parts out here, but nothing too important. We covered this. I'm a little concerned that hopefully energy isn't pushed here to the Cocos and travel northward. Okay. So let's just pray on this one. Let's pray that we have release of energy, not too bad, and that it doesn't disrupt this one plate right here, okay? I can't emphasize how important this plate is. Just like the Juan de Fuca, okay? And maybe even more important in other aspects. Here at our pinnacle point, or fulcrum point, nothing but a little deeper inland is a 4.6 at a depth of 127. That's a semi deep. It's just, 1/3 of the way down or whatever. But it's still 4.6 here in these mountains right along this. That's where a lot of SO2 is coming out in this zone. Remember that? Okay, so that is your earthquake report. Oh, we had a new one right there. A 4.8 at the Dominican Republic. Just now on this fault zone. Let me see, is that on land? Okay, good. Topographical, no, I don't see any volcanic structures in the area, so that's an on land quake. That, pressure coming in on this fault line here up above it. This fault line there. Where's my camera? There we go. Oh. Alright, so there was that. And I didn't even have a gem set up for tonight, so I don't know what to do for the gem tonight. Oh, sure, we'll do that, Lord. Alright, well, that was the end of our solar report, so you solar fans can retire now, and those of you who want to stick around for the spiritual part, stick around. We're gonna just do something simple here. Fine. We'll do it this way then. Okay, let's pull up a nice image to look at. Something bring you guys some hope. Maybe you'll read some of my notes. Where to put them? I haven't read out of them in a while. For you guys, we'll dig it out real quick while we're waiting for that to upload. Oh, there we go. Cool. Only 19. Good. That's my basic 21 people. Somebody's probably asleep already because I go on way late at night. Maybe it's early for the morning for you West Coast people, but or East Coast folks, but I'm on the West Coast and it is late at night. Are you seriously going to play an ad on my video? No, you don't. Okay, there is an angel right there. Let's see if we can get this Just about right. Let me point it out. First, tilt your head to the right about 45 degrees because this angel's body is laying at a 45-degree angle. Here's a wing coming off here and a wing coming off here. Here's the head with the little white crown and long black hair. It's a female. It has breasts. Let me, hang on. Let's get a little bit better there for you folks. And tint. Well, alright, we tinted to see the body. You can make out this wing, alright? Now, that wing's kind of going to go into darkness a little bit so we can see the rest of the body. Okay, so, the face, there's the white little crown, long black hair, the breast, it's a female, has a tight, skinny little waist, and the legs come out and drop down. Here's the feet, okay, there's the skinny little waist, legs drop down. Here's the torso, okay, little body, and she's holding something. I can't tell what she's holding, but she's hovering over a sleeping child down below, okay? So, hopefully you guys can see this image of the angel, okay? And let me... The final countdown? No, we're not going to take this. Help me, Lord. Where are we going? Oh, you guys are so patient. Hang on. I'm trying to find something that's appropriate for tonight. Guide me. Where are we going? Oh, I hear you. Okay. We're gonna start right here, I guess. Pull my light over here so I can read this and take a sip. Alright, good. Spiritual folks only. Okay. In my presence you can find fullness of joy, perfect peace, and unfailing love. Walk with me along the path of life, enjoying my company each step of the way, because I am always by your side. The joy of my presence is yours for the taking. I will keep you in perfect peace as you fix your thoughts on me. Stay in communication with me through your spoken words, thoughts, and songs. Spend ample time absorbing my word, letting it speak in your heart where it changes the way you think and live. As you ponder who I really am, my light shines warmly into your mind, helping you live in my peace. Beloved, I want you to flourish in my presence, like an olive tree flourishing in the house of God. As the sunlight of my presence nourishes you, you are able to produce abundant fruit in my kingdom. And the more you trust in my unfailing love, the more you will realize how utterly secure you are. Okay? I love you all. I miss you all dearly. God bless you all. And until my next stream, I'll be back. I am back.